Normally, whenever we talk about donation, we give what we have. We don't give what people need. And that's the gap we wanted to fill. The idea was to start a movement where the underutilized urban material can be channelized to the people in need, not with charity, but with a lot of dignity. My name is Anshu Gupta, and I run this movement, social enterprise called Goonj. 20 years back, I met this person who used to pick up unclaimed dead bodies. This person's statement that in winters his work goes up. And I thought that it is happening because of cold. Until I realized that it is actually not because of cold but lack of clothing. It's a highly preventable death or suffering. At Goonj, we collect anything and everything which can be reused. Cloth, utensil, footwear, furniture, old wash basin, pipe fittings, fans. When this material comes to our center, it goes through a very rigorous process. It goes through repairing, washing. After that, it is converted into various kits. Not even a single inch of cloth will go waste. Then it goes to the remotest possible part of the country, especially in the villages and in the slums. There is this pond which is completely closed for the last 10 years. Now these hundreds of villages have taken it up. They will clean it up so that the water recharge happens in the process. Cleaning of this one big pond will take care of the livelihood of people. So they take care of the livestock and the daily needs of people. With their own labor, people work on it. And then after a few days of work, with a lot of respect, they receive these kits. It can be given in a very dignified way. We need to be thankful to every single person who is using our second-hand material, because that person gives respect and second life to something on which we have put in a lot of emotions and have a lot of hard-earned money.
So, in the last 25 years, the thing that has been there for us was dignity. You know that everything that we do is dignity central. We whatever implementation point we think of, the projects that we think of, how we want to connect with the communities in urban areas and in rural areas, everything is dignity centric. That is the base thought with which we started, and that is why with the kind of work that we are doing, we are trying to use the urban household material, I would say the wastage of urban India, as a development tool and not as a charity for someone. So it is reaching with utmost dignity to the people in need, mostly in rural India and also in some urban areas as well. So it is not going as a charity; it is going as a reward for the work that they are thinking or they are doing. So the model is not just about collecting material and giving it to someone. It is about creating this whole sense of ownership in both the communities. In urban India, where the material is collected, it is all volunteer driven. So people take part in this movement of collecting, the urban wastage and reaching out to people. And in rural India, again, it is a community effort. People come together and work on various issues, and they get to decide. You know, it is not conveyed to them that you have to work on this thing or that thing. People come together, they hold meetings, they decide what they want to work on, when they want to work on, how they want to work on, and after doing that work, they get these material as a reward. So in last 10 years only, we have done 96,000 plus such activities with, mostly the rural communities. And we have now a team of roughly 1,200 people in Goonj. And in last 10 years, we have been, or we have worked in 31 states and union territories, and reached roughly about 63 million kgs of urban material, channelized it with utmost dignity to the largely to the rural areas. And this we are able to do because we have a network of over 1,000 plus grassroots organizations with us. And on need basis, we partner with them, and we try and reach to the remotest geographies possible. Next. How we're doing this is there are certain guiding principles that we hold on to, and these principles guide us to take the right decision. One is that recognizing the value and potential of the local resource and the traditional wisdom of people. So, like I said, we don't decide what what people will be doing. People take that decisions themselves. They decide. So there's a lot of traditional wisdom, the local wisdom, which we need to value and we need to learn from. Then another guiding principle is focusing on receiver's dignity than the donor's pride. So in all our communications, we try and hold on to this value system that the givers should not take the pride that they are giving something. They should actually be thankful that there is someone who is receiving with with utmost dignity to the material which might end up into the landfills. Then we want to focus on the ignored issues more. Like winter is a very ignored annual disaster, or the fire or the annual floods of some states, especially the northeastern states. They're all ignored issues. So we try and focus more on the ignored issues and the ignored geographies. Then another guiding principle is collaboration. So there's a lot of effort that we put into creating different collaborations with urban and rural stakeholders, so that it is run as a movement and not only as a kind of organization. And then putting equal value, giving equal value to each stakeholder, whether a villager from a very remote area, or or a student maybe from school who wants to contribute in the urban movement. So we need to give equal value to every stakeholder. So these are our guiding principles with which we are trying to move ahead.
As Anita said, we have actually completed, Goonj has completed 25 years. So it started in 1999 with just one computer. So that's how tech started in Goonj. And though tech has been a part of the Goonj through its journey, it was a small part and used for data monitoring and collection and everything. When Excel came in, Goonj adapted with Excel. When Google Sheets came in, Goonj started using Google Sheets and everything. But as Anita said, and as Anshu said in the videos, the expansion also happened. But when we moved to multiple states because of disasters and everything, so then our scale increased. So with increase in scale, we did have lots of other things that we had to take care of, the processes, the data, quality, and everything. So with that, our digital journey as such started with a little bit more consciousness. So in 2020, the thought of going, using a platform, because as you saw from the video and as Anita explained, the whole material management is a big process in Goonj. It is actually the main thing which Goonj does, and it has its whole flow as it goes from the urban, it goes into a processing, and it goes in the rural. So it has almost 3 verticals and the journey that it takes. So to figure out that whole material management journey, Goonj was looking for a platform. At that time, Salesforce was suggested and fitted actually quite well because of its robustness, and it already had some material flows in place and everything. So that's what Goonj started off. And in 2021, we started actually using Salesforce in production after doing some customization to it and everything. That also took some time for our people who are not used to a platform to come on board, start using actually a digital platform for storing the data and everything. It did take some time, but I think they actually adapted to it quite well comparatively, from people who are not used to using an application or a platform to starting to use a platform and to to use it actually quite efficiently. So that was a reason where we also realized that probably there is a scope for getting in more tech as well, and it can be taken up. The people are not that resistant to it, and so we can use tech for leveraging the work and making it easier for the people to do their actual work. In 2021, we also tried in-house dashboards and everything, which we created to see how people are looking at the data and to make them a little more aware that data is where your basics means. Otherwise, you keep on looking at data for a reporting and monitoring point of view. But as soon as dashboards come, you can visualize your data. You realize that you can start using it for planning purposes. You can start using it for seeing where you can do improvements and things like that also. So I think that was also a little bit inspiring for us to see that the people are excited about data. Different teams want to look at the data differently. Our Salesforce journey, as you can see, continues. And it has continuing because we started with one module. And that's what has been general approach with Goonj. We always start phase-wise work, and then we take it up. So again, in 22, we added more modules to Salesforce, which were related to our material management journey. We introduced the purchase module and things like that to make the automation even better and put processes in place. In 2022, we started having this conversation where we realized lots of our field work was still manual. And we were using paper pens to fill up the forms. And it had its own chain of getting into Salesforce. So at that time, we were thinking of digitalization. And that's when I think we got introduced to Avni. And we had, as usual, we normally circulate our proposals and we go through that whole process. And that's how we got through Avni as well. And we started our digitalization work from there. And we finally rolled out in 2023 because through the digitalization process, you all the time when you introduce a platform, you realize it's working fine and it's working well. But when you try to do certain processes, always come in place and you realize there's always a way of doing them better. So when we tried doing the digitalization in 2022 December, we realized that it was not easy for our field staff to enter the data. The data was not intuitive enough for them. So our flows was not intuitive enough for them. So that's why we worked on revamping our processes as well. And we worked with you all in Avni, and we worked with our Salesforce partners as well. And we changed our processes so that it is easier for our field staff to start using it. And we started rolling out Avni application. We started again that in a phase-wise manner. We had first our Maharashtra team, which went on board using Avni application. They were a huge team, but they were really enthusiastic, and the people involved were involved in testing phase as well. So they took it up very well, and they were okay. They knew there would be some changes in the way, but they were okay with it. So that's why we took up first with Maharashtra. Then we progressed with Rajasthan, which was a smaller team to manage. And we would realize if we had to face any issues, they would be able to tell us what we are facing and everything. So then Rajasthan came on board. And now actually we are 16 states our people in 16 states are using Avni, and around 150 of our field staff is using Avni. So that whole journey has come around very well. Then we had Glyphic, which came into picture as well in 2023. We started using it for our urban operations communications bit to make it more uniform. So any communication which goes out from Goonj, we started using it more first as flows for solving people's queries and everything, and then also started using Glyphic's push messages for sending information across to our different urban partners. So that we used in our urban scenarios since we have the 3 verticals. And now we are actually working on our Salesforce things continues, as now our Avni also journey is continuing. We always have more updates to be made and everything. Similarly, we're doing that on Avni, we're doing that on Salesforce and everything. And we have a new platform, which is in making, we're hoping for release by end of this week, which is the CRM. And we are working right now with Covered Cow for customizing CV CRM, which is an open source platform, which is successfully used across Europe, but it's still not used intensively in India. And it matched with 70% of our requirements. So that's how we are going with it. And then once we start using all these things, I think we'll have to look at our data again So because now we have multiple platforms, not just one. So the data amalgamation, the data integration. So we'll start looking at that as well. So then we can see our data in the totality and just not as verticals. So that is also an update to be worked on.